a few people wanted a rundown of Lightroom, and so I thought I'd do that today. So I'm actually holding the camera, so it might not go down very well, and if it doesn't, then I'll have to do it as a proper video. But I just wanted to show you inside Lightroom. So the first thing you go into is the library, and the first thing I do when I oh, someone's jumped on. I didn't expect anyone to jump on because I didn't announce I was going to do this, so I'm just going to hold the camera and see how I get through. Hi Rachel. And then I can save the video and put it in places for people. So in Lightroom, oh, a few people are jumping on. This isn't, I hope people don't think this is the wrap party. This is just a live so that I can go through Lightroom, hopefully, but I am holding the camera, so who knows. I just thought I've got 30 minutes before I go live for the wrap party, so I might as well try and do it. So this is what Lightroom looks like, and as I said, I am holding the camera, so no, oh god, well, no, you can feel free to go away. No one has to stay, feel free to go away. This is just me doing this so that I don't have to edit a video, and then I can still save it and we can still use it for the people that wanted to know how to do Lightroom. So the first thing I would do in Lightroom is go up to File, and then where it says Export, you need to set this up first. When you've done all your edits, it might sound weird starting at the end, but when you've done all your edits, you normally export with preset, and then I go down and export for blog, and that means they all go out the same size, and I don't have to resize everyone individually. But obviously I have to set that up to start with. So to set it up, I'd go into export, and then I'd go down to where it's, see, mine's there already, export for blog. But I'd just click on the add, and I'd just put in, oh, I can't see my hands, test. And then I'd already have a file on my Mac called blog images or something, and you can change it to whatever you want it to be. And then I'd create that. And then I know that I go into here where it says test, and I can change these things so that they always, so I don't have to change them every single time. I hope this is making sense. So you can specify a folder that you want it to go to on your desktop. So you can see there mine goes to desktop photos, and then in that photos file there will be all these files that I'll rename. So say if I'm doing posts for boots or something, I'll just put boots in there, and then I'll go down here, and I might not do that because I might just want to leave them all that name, but if I do, I can rename them all and give them a custom name or whatever. You don't have to do that, because if you just want to, you know, have them like that. And then file settings, I just leave that on. I don't know if that, I think that might be standard because I don't think I've ever changed it. And then this is the really good bit, is the image sizing. So you click on resize to fit, and I have mine all 1000 pixels wide, and that just goes in at 1000, but it will just be you know, whatever size. It doesn't mean that they'll make them all square, it just means that they'll be 1000 pixels wide by however low, you know, however deep they are. That's pixels, and I normally do 240 resolutions, pixels, you know, 240 pixels per inch. You can sharpen for screen or for print. I normally sharpen standard, just ignore that bit. You can even put a watermark in if you want. I don't watermark my pictures because I think it ruins them, but you could upload a watermark and have that on all your pictures. And then after export, I just have it on do nothing. And then I would basically save that, and it's exporting 2 files that I'd selected, so we'll just ignore it. And then, so that's set up. So you know then, when you've edited your pictures, that you can go in and, oh cool, glad you've just done it. So then basically we'll get to that point in a minute. So you go in and you say, I've not actually got any to walk through, which is annoying, but I can re-edit some pictures. So you'd go up to there where it says import photos and videos, and select a source. So mine automatically, you can change this. Mine automatically, oh, it's got a card in there, so it's finding these pictures, and it will come up as all the ones that are on the card basically. So these are all my Dijon pictures. So if you want to uncheck them all, and then you want to select certain ones, so maybe I'll just select that big wheel one and that one. But if you want to select, oh, it's going mad because it's loading all that are on the card. And it's like any Mac thing, if you select the shift and then select another one, it'll select all the ones in between. And then if you click, I'm trying to do it with my thumb, if you click, it'll select all the ones you've highlighted. So it's just going bonkers because it's loading them all. So again, if I select that, it's ticked all the ones I've highlighted. That's pictures that Ava took of me, bizarrely. So let's just go back, and so there's a couple of pictures of the Eiffel Tower. So you tick them, or you can get it to select all of them, it's up to you. And then we go across to import, which is just at the bottom there, and we import them. So now they're going to be here, and they're going to pop up into our library. And now the first thing I normally do is highlight all of, again, I'm doing this with highlight all of those, which is just shift and then click the last picture that you want to. And then I go over here and you can see it automatically drops them into files with date order, but that's not good enough for me because I need to know where they are. So I make collections. Can you see over here the collections? And all you do is, if you've highlighted, say they're all the certain, say I want to highlight these and I want to say, okay, I'm going to have Paris pictures here. Then I'd highlight those and then I'd click up here where it says collections, and I'd click that button, create new collection, and I just do, I'm going to call it test so I can delete it because I've already got Paris, but I would, you know, and then it says include selected pictures, and then Rachel's just said, do you import? Yes, I do import directly from my SD card. And then you create, and then see how there it's popped a little file called test. So you can see up here, look, there's all these files, so of all the brands or photo shoots we've done. So I can just click on that and I don't have to like ferret around. And you can tag your pictures, so you can tag them with like across here you can tag them with like Eiffel Tower, nighttime, Paris or whatever. But actually I don't work like that. I'm much better, I can kind of remember what they are if I know what file they're in, you know, so I don't really tag mine. But you could tag them, you know, child, garden, ice cream, if they're the things. And then if you ever want a picture of a child in the garden with ice cream, you can literally put those keywords in and it'll find those pictures. But I haven't got time to tag, so I just put them in folders. So I hope everyone's with me so far. So then you've got them in there, you've imported them, you've got them into a particular file. I always do that first so I don't forget, because if you forget, like I used to before I got my new Mac, it was all like hella mess. And then I click develop, and video is not supported by develop, I know that, but it's probably because I selected a video by accident. So then you've got your pictures there, and that first one's a video, so we'll just ignore that one. And you're in develop now. So the first thing to do is to think, what do you want it to look like, or how do you want your picture to be? And as you can see here, here are all the presets down the side. So preset is just a filter. It's just a filter like you'd use on any other place, you know, Instagram or whatever, but they're just a bit fancier because they're in Lightroom. So bizarrely, that's an orange filter that makes that go like that. Lightroom comes with a few filters already there. So I think all of these ones, all the ones that say Lightroom in front of them, are standard ones that come. So you get quite a lot already. And then look at all those. Yeah, you get loads. And then the user presets are the ones that you add in yourself. And if you get presets, and I've got 5 in the party bag on Friday for everybody, all you do is, you know, you'll find the file and it'll be like a zip file. You just double click on it outside of Lightroom, and then you double click on when it's unpackaged the file, and literally if you've got your Lightroom open down here, it'll just, when you double click on your thing, it'll just pop up and it'll say in Lightroom, do you want to add this preset? And you just click yes and it pops it in here under user presets. So you can see I've got quite a lot, and then some of these I'll have made myself. So some of these, all I've done, see if you click that, see all this stuff on here changes, because that's all the aspects that make up the preset. So you can think, oh, I like that, but actually I need it to be sharper, or so I'll go down to sharpening, and you can just play around, and I'll put the sharpening up to the top. And then sometimes if it goes a bit blurry, you can move the noise reduction, and that kind of takes the edge off. And actually the best thing to do sometimes with this is just to go in, look at a picture, move it around and see what effect it might have on the picture, to see what you like and what you don't like. And then you can do the vignetting is where you make it. It's not going to work on this picture because it's a black picture anyway, but you can see the bottom just change. So that's when you put a little bit of a burn around a picture. That's what I do quite a lot. So maybe I'll find a better picture. Let me just go into the library and find a. And then if in there now, I've just got the ones that I've selected. So if you come down to the bottom here, and it says that's the collection. So if I say I don't want that, I want all photos now, it'll go back to everything in my Lightroom. So I can either look at it under date that it's imported, under the specific file that I've called it, or just randomly, you know, under whatever. So let's go back to this one, and then I'll click develop. So this is just a picture of her in a giant bauble, as you do. So you can just flick through, and as you see, the one here is changing as I just hover over the filters. So you can get an idea there of, you know, what filter you might like. I've got one that's called my general preset. So if I click on that, it'll change and go matte and a bit warm, and that's the one that I normally use. But I also have another one that is that I made up for Halloween, which I really like, but it's much bluer, but I really do like that. But what you might do is you might go into, say that's called Hazy Pop, and that's just a random one that I've just got for free. And then I could go into here where it says over here, the highlight, the post crop vignetting, and then I just decide to burn the edges a bit. And by burning the edges, see how it's just going a bit dark around there, so it brings the focus into the middle of the picture. So you can do it quite a lot. You could like really burn it, or you could, you know, just do a little bit. But see how it changes so when there's none, that's almost none. It's quite a light picture, but I could really put the focus on her. I don't like it when it goes like to an oval, but then you can change the roundness, and so you can just muck about with all these dials, and it just does so, you know. And if you like grain, there's a thing there to put more grain onto the picture. I don't like grain, so on my picture, so I just take it off. But the point is, you can get a picture, you can get one of these free presets. That's high definition, so it's got a bit wonky. And then you can say, I'm going to change I'm just going to muck about with all of these things, exposure and highlights, and you can make, if it looks dark, you can put more white in it, blah, blah, blah. You can make the clarity up. If it looks a bit too, you know, orange, you can go down and find a blue or something and make the blue go up a bit, just to kind of level it out. And then you can see the effect here. If there's, so I'd always make the sharpening high, probably not in a high definition filter. But that's basically all you need to know. You can remove spots, and, you know, I could take that wand out if I wanted to, but I don't think we need to do that today. I have done it before with, I don't know if anyone saw when we turned 50,000 images in our Little Fierce ones, there was castle pictures with the girls holding balloons, and that had a group of tourists beside the castle, and whichever way we shot it, we couldn't get the tourists out of the way. So I got them out of the way by copying a bit of ground here and then putting it, you know, not obviously on the child, but, you know, copying this ground and replacing it there, so that it's just like cloning in PicMonkey, but you can do it up here. So you can do loads of things. You can tilt the picture with transform. So if you think, oh, I wish I'd got down a bit lower, you can tilt the picture so it looks like you did, and then just, you know, that'll save it like that. There's loads and loads of things you can do, but that is probably the major bits that I do, really. So hopefully somebody's just put a comment saying, sorry to go back to exporting, can you set different ones? Yeah, totally. You can set one for M, who taught me Lightroom, who used to blog at Snowing Indoors, had one for sort of blog, you know, for export into the blog, so they were all 1,000 pixels wide, and then you can just go back in and do the same thing and export it, say maybe for print, if you want to have, you know, a file of pictures that would be high enough resolution to print out for family photos or whatever. You can have as many as you want, and then you just go, so I just go export with preset, and I'd go down to export blog, blah, blah, blah. And it's not gonna, because it's not set up properly here, because I just do it a different way. I just go in and go export, and it will automatically bring up photos and, ooh, something's broken here, and that, and then I can change this to be Paris or whatever I want. Make sure that that's ticked, because we set that up before, didn't we? So we know that they're going to all be exported at 1000 pixels wide. But yeah, you can have loads in here that are you know, different ones for different ideas, and then all you do is export. I won't export that again because, and you'll see a little bar going up here, and then if you look in your find it, you're going to see my scary messy desktop now. I just go into my desktop, and I know that my photos file is at the bottom, and then, oh look, all in there are Frozen, Dracot, Grayskull, headshots, Lapland. It's got some odd ones that I've just sent in because I needed one picture and I just exported it again. Nativity. So I know that I go into that and double click it, and they're all my pictures. So I know that, oh look, there's all my Paris pictures, and I don't have to ever try and sort through to find them because they're all there. And what I do is just, it's not a Lightroom tip, but I'll go through the file and see how some of mine have got coloured dots. Normally, if I do them, this is different because this was Paris, so I didn't have any of those that were going on our normal Instagram, our big Instagram. But see, the pumpkin ones, I should... not done it on here. Typical. I'm trying to show you something. So red would be for the blog post, and then I would normally, if there's any purple, it would be for my big Instagram. So I'll just go through and I'll look like here, and I can see the picture, and I can just hold it down with 2 fingers and select the tag, so that I know then when I go back into that file and I open up the blog post, I can just literally drop, or I can sort it by colour. And I can just find that and say, right, okay, that was all, you know, click shift and click the bottom, export all of them into the blog post. I've missed the bottom ones, but you get the point. And that will be all of the blog post pictures. And then, oh, if I've got any more tags, the purple one will be the big Instagram, the grey one will be the little Instagram. And it means I don't have to go through each individual picture and figure out where I'm going to put it. And I also have a yellow tag, which means it's not the blog post, but it's maybe for a different post, like my Sunday photo or the happy list or whatever like that. So that's how I organise it. Hopefully that's been useful. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that I've missed out of just the basic. So as you can see, you can import like a billion pictures, and oh, the copying the things. Let's do that. So the copying the filter. So say I want this picture, right? And say I'm really happy with the way this looks. I'm not, but say I was. And then I can adjust these because I can just delete the thing. So say I want this one. I want this filter to go on all of these pictures, these next 4 pictures. All I do is make sure that one's selected, and then I'd click the shift and the end one. And then I'd go into here where it says sync, and I'd sync that. And I just make sure all of these, I think these are standard, but I just make sure this is what I have if you want to take a screenshot of that. But I think they just pop up as standard. And I go, yeah, I want to synchronize all of the aspects of that picture onto all of the other pictures that I've highlighted. So synchronize, and you'll see it just goes change. You see it just changing. And then you look in, and that's got the same filter that that first picture had. And you could literally do that with, you could start at the beginning, click there, click at the end here, shift click, all of those now have gone that colour, and literally it will, the first one I picked, it will, if I go sync, I'm not going to do it, but synchronise, you'll see that bar go up here again, and it will just synchronise that edit on all of those pictures. And then, so you've done that, then you've clicked through and checked them. So yeah, they all look okay. Yeah, I'm happy with all them. I'm going to export. I'm going to make sure I've highlighted them again. So highlight the first, shift click the last, yeah. And then I'm going to go through and export, and it's going to export with previous, even if you've used it before, or export with preset. Pick the one that you want it to be, and boom. And then they end up in a folder in your, wherever you've set it to go. So as I said, mine are always photos, and then they'd end up there. And then you could go through and say, okay, I want that one to be That was a Premiere In review we did. So I want that one to be Instagram. So I'm going to put that a certain colour. I want that one to be whatever. So I'm going to change my colours. You don't have to do that. That's just how I do it and how I find it's really, really quick to do. So I think that is how the basics of how I use Lightroom. This picture, if you're wondering what that is such a cute thing. In Dijon, where we're going to live, there's all around the town there's these little metal things that are with owls on them that are stuck to the floor, and you can go on a little trail all around the town, which is sweet. But so hopefully that's given you a quick run through. So all these pictures are a bit bonkers now because I've obviously been mucking around with them and I wouldn't have them quite this colour. But you can see how, you know, Lightroom's, I've edited that in Lightroom. I think that's stunning. Sometimes you don't need to do that much, sometimes you need to do more. So you could change the filter. So I've just changed that to hazy pop up there. You can see a preview of what it looks like. You might decide to do that. That's probably my my filter that I've called export, bizarrely, because I gave it the wrong name. Yeah, it is, because you can see how similar it is. But then you could click on that and then you could say, okay, I actually want it to be, you know, a little bit more overexposed, and I could lighten it up a bit, and you can just move the sliders. And then if you've done that, you can, so you've had a filter that you've then changed here a little bit by sliding it around, and then you think, oh, I want to keep this though. Let me see where I've got that. So yeah, so there it's new preset, and you just go in and then you give it a name, and so test or whatever, and then create, and it will create a preset based on the adjustments you've just made to that previous filter, if that makes sense. So I can say, okay, I want to go into there and I want to go put that filter on it, and it'll change. See how it's changed? It obviously doesn't look the same because it's a much more exposed picture, but that had the previous picture, the previous filter, or preset as we call it in Lightroom, with a slightly more exposed, you know, increase in exposure, and that's then the filter that you can have there of your own. So you can get these filters that are free, and then you can just adjust them, go up to develop, new preset, and it saves what you've just done. So I hope that's helped. And if it hasn't, leave me some comments, but what I'll do is I'll save this video and we'll put it in the group, and I might put it in a blog post as well so people can find it. But hopefully that has given you a run through of how to import, how to edit, how to set up your own filters, how to put one filter or preset on a load of pictures, and then how to export them without resizing them first, but through exporting them, it will automatically resize them if you've sorted out your bit down here where you can, you know, sort out your pixels and decide how big you want it to be when it exports and how sharp you want it to be. If you've done all that, then it will all automatically do it all for you at the click of a button. That's how good Lightroom is. So I'm going to go and have a drink before I go live on the other group. So I hope that's been helpful, and if there's anything you want to ask, then let me know.